Hey there, you're listening to Creative Calling Podcast. I'm your host, Briana Christine, designer, illustrator, dancer, creative entrepreneur, and maker of Creative Calling Activity Book, Creative Calling Podcast, Creative Calling type things. I can't explain why this is on my heart to always share. I just know that anything that I like to do, I like to teach. That's why I made this podcast. I love to find people who love to share their inspirations and their journeys. Maybe it's because I always liked to read as a kid, and I liked that people were willing enough to open up their emotions and their hearts and their thoughts, and I just want to return the favor. But in any case, I'm here to serve as a inspiration to you, and what you guys are going to come away with today is inspiration for either your freelance business, your most creative, your next creative adventure, things of these natures. So today I'm talking about from another activity from the Creative Calling Activity Book. We are on 29, and I particularly like this quote better than I like the activity that I'm going into today. And the activity has to do with, again, the subject and the idea of time, which we've been talking about in the last couple of episodes. But the quote here from this book is, "You are a professional when you start acting like one." I admit that I might have borrowed this idea from another entrepreneur, but like many ideas that I've borrowed for this book, I'm here to present this in another way. And so part of that way is digital watercolor because I like it. Oh. Anyway, I digress. The activity is that the habits, it says underline the habits you work on most, and I give you a couple different things that you probably do if you're a creative entrepreneur or work for yourself. So it says things like follow up with clients, produce creative work, research marketing techniques, read about personal development, check social notifications, check analytics. Maybe you work out because you need to work out for yourself, or you need to look good for your Instagram. Sleep, reply to emails, collaborate with other creatives, watch inspirational videos. Wow. Listen to podcasts. I still do these things. Work one-on-one with clients, cold calling new clients, develop new professional skills, network with other industry professionals, learn more about your current trade, organize paperwork and digital files. Now, some of those probably sounded like, oh my gosh, I would want to be doing that right now, but I'm too busy, or I spend a lot of time doing a lot of the marketing stuff, but I don't spend enough time doing the client stuff, and I wish I was doing this, right? So that's what this is so underline the things you're doing, circle the things you want to be doing. So this is definitely one, if you don't have the book yet, go back, re-listen to what I said. I just repeated all of them. Circle the ones you want to do, underline the ones you actually do. In theory, this is a really simple activity. However, in like real life, what we miss is how important like our emotions are to acting, right? So there's so many videos that point to that bringing out emotions and working from emotions works so much more effectively than doing something because we have to. Like, for instance, I love you guys and I love this show. I have to produce it. Whether I want to do it today or not is different. So to get myself excited and to have an emotion, to bring a certain level of energy to this video, I have to do certain things to get myself excited, or maybe not. Some days I don't. Today happened to be one of those days. I just made coffee, so that's my secret. And when I work from that place of happiness, from desire, from wanting to do it, and not like, oh, I have to do it, which I I hate to say this, but I felt like my last 3 videos that I recorded in a row were like, oh my God, I want to die. Like I wanted to go back and re-record them because I was like I was like not bringing the energy that day. And rather than go back and rework that, I decided to just bring a new level of energy and really bring awareness to this series or this next batch of videos I've been creating. What does this mean for this activity? So when you pay attention to what you're doing and what you want to be doing, you can go, okay, today I'm following up with clients, but I would rather listen to podcasts. Well, can you follow up with your clients in 20 minutes so that you can listen to podcasts for 20 minutes? Do you have a space, first of all, for you to listen to podcasts? And if you don't, can you create a space by making your follow-up with clients a little bit more efficient, right? And it's these little discoveries that we make each day that make our day exciting, that make our heart pound because we're excited to have done the thing we wanted to do from our heart. If you want to be, let's say you're cold calling new clients, but you would rather be working out, which is pretty much me every day. Can you offset that by giving that to somebody else and then you can go work out? Maybe you can, maybe you can't. I personally don't like handing off cold calling to somebody that, unless I really, really trust them and they really can speak for my brand. I like to find a way, this is something that I've done, to funnel my cold calls so that I can have more of a script, and I hate to make it sound robotic, but a way that works that I can put into a note that I can use in the future to make my cold calls more effective, and then that way I have more time to work out. So for instance, it sounds weird when I'm explaining it, so let me kind of go back. But the more times you use a script, the easier it becomes to say it. So even though I'm cold calling somebody, the more times I say it, the easier it sounds, right? So for instance, when somebody asks me, what do you do right now? I'm a dance teacher, like by title. But I know from marketing and from other books that I've read that that's not really the way that, like, people don't know what to do with that. Okay, you're a dance teacher, you teach ballroom dancing. Is that for old people? Is that for young people? All the questions come, right? So I, instead of cold calling, what I do is I make a script and I update it occasionally to make it sound like more natural and actually talks about what I really do, which is actually, I'm basically a couples counselor. I teach couples and individuals that want to work on themselves how to communicate through movement. And when they learn how to communicate through movement, they have a new tool that they can use to music. And that's really what I do. And that can be over multiple situations, you know, it's not just ballroom dancing. When I have that script and I can understand that and say that, I can be more effective in my cold calls. I don't have to make as many cold calls. People get what I do better. That gives me more time to work out. That is what gives me more time to work out, because more people understand what I do, more people work with me, and I've seen this with me at work. I've been at Fred Astaire for 6 months now, and I've got the script down and people love it. And of course I have my own flair because I was dancing for 10 years before, so I have a lot of experiences that I draw from, that I infuse in there, and the combination of those two things has made me more effective, which gives me more lessons, which means I have more time to do other things that I want to do. So if there's something you really want to do, find a way to make it happen. Okay, let's go back to this quote. I just realized that I started with the quote and spent more time on the activity. You're a professional when you start acting like one. So what does this mean? Continuing with the idea of your actions define kind of who you are. And I don't mean kind of, I mean they do define who you are. You are a professional when you start acting like one. When you take the time to make the video that you weren't super excited to make, that's when you become a professional, because people see you doing what you do best or what you want to be doing, regardless of whether or not you're getting paid to do it, whether or not you feel like doing it, whether or not you feel qualified to do it. You are a professional by the way that you act. So if you're cold calling all day long, are you really doing everything you need to be a professional? Or do you need to start allocating some of your time to making more artwork? If you're from my art listening group, I have a couple different groups of people that listen now. Or do you need to spend more time on your steps? If you're a dancer, do you need to make more time working on your teaching? Where do you need to be allocating your time to appear professional, right? Because I could be here on this channel and I could be in like my sweats, which I've totally done before, but what are you trying to communicate to your audience, and what kind of consistency do you want to bring? What is the message that you are trying to send? Because whatever message you're trying to send, like for instance, the day that I came on, I was like, I didn't do my hair. My whole message that day was, get it out there, get it done. Like sometimes you're not gonna have the best face and you just have to step forward with what that is. And sometimes that's being a professional. But if you have 20 minutes and you're just not using that time to do your hair because you just don't feel like it, you're just not making that video on Sunday because you just don't feel like it, then you're not being a professional. If you only have 20 minutes because your friend's getting married tomorrow, but you still need to make a video, then it's all a matter of balancing and finding these things. So I know I'm throwing a lot at you at once, so I'm just gonna wrap it up right there. And you guys just got extra jam-packed podcast awesomeness today. So thank you so much for listening to another episode of Creative Calling Podcast. Please, if you like this video, you can find more on YouTube or SoundCloud, Creative Calling Podcast. Like, share, subscribe, comment. I love to hear how you guys are reacting to the book and reacting to the show. And as always, until next time.